this video, we're going to look at adding sections to a document. You'll add a section to a document when you want to be able to apply different page layout options to each section. Some examples are when you want different margins for one area. Page orientation is a really common one, especially when you add graphs or tables that are very large. You may have, for this document, portrait, and then where the tables and charts are, you would like that section to be landscape so it's easier to read. The other reason you would add sections to your document is you want different headers and footers. An example would be on a report where you have a cover page with no page numbers. You have a table of contents where you wanted to use the little I's to do the page numbering, and then return for the report you want regular numbering. Number of columns. Most documents are a one-column document, and maybe part of it, that document, you want to have multiple columns. To add a section, you would go to the layout ribbon, and most importantly, before you do this, is you set the insertion point where you want the section to begin. And then you click on the breaks and pick which one of these you will choose. The most often picked one is next page. Continuous, think of columns. C for continuous, C for columns. Even page and odd page is when you want the next section to always start on an even page or always start on an odd page. To the history of computers, I would like to look at the whole document, so I'm going to click on View, Multiple Pages. What if I'd like this second generation to be a section of its own, and I would like it to be portrait? So what I would do here is I set the insertion point in front of second generation, go to Layout, to Breaks, and I'm going to pick a next page section break. It started on the next page. So now when we have, I'm going to click on Home, a section break, you're going to see this symbol for a next page section break. By the way, that section break, just like a paragraph mark, holds formatting. In this case, this section break is holding the formatting for section 1. I'm going to click on section 2. Now I need to insert another section break in front of 3 because 3 we want it to be portrait. So I will come back to the layout ribbon, go to breaks, next page break. So I have this right here, this section is section 1, this is section 2, and then we have section 3. I set the insertion point anywhere in section 2. Under the layout, I go to page orientation and landscape. See how this is portrait, and then I have landscape, and this one's back to portrait. So that's one way to do section breaks. Another way is because we want different headers and footers. So if I come up here and I'm doing a header and footer, I'm going to go to the Insert ribbon, click on Header, Edit Header. I always, when I'm working on headers that have multiple sections, I always pay attention to this section 1. So I click right here and I could say first generation. Next section, I always use under the header footer tools, go to the next footer. So see how it says first generation? That's because that same as previous is turned on. That link and same is, I wish they'd use the same words. I click to turn that off. That removes that, and I'll put second generation. Go to the next header. Again, it says second generation because the same as previous is turned on. I'm going to turn link to previous off. Change that to third. And that's the header. To go down to the footer, I again navigate using the go to footer, and I'm going to go start with the very first section, so I'm clicking on previous 2 times. So let's say we do not want page numbering on section 1. Let's pretend like this is a table of contents. So I'm going to highlight that and delete it. Click to go to the next section. Notice I'm not scrolling. I'm using these buttons up here. Now I'm going to put in page, and I want to go put page number. So I'm going to put current position, a plain number. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but see how it said page 2? I can come back up here to page number, format. Once you have page numbers, you can format them. I'm going to tell it to start at 1 and click OK. Now I'm in section 2, and guess what? I forgot to turn off same as previous, so I need to turn that link to previous off. And let's go to previous, and guess what we did? It's put these page numbers in because I started editing the footer before I turned off that link. So again, I'm going to highlight that, delete for section 1, go to next. Didn't affect it because I had turned off that link to previous just a minute ago. Go to next, and maybe I want to restart the page numbering, but before I start doing any editing, I got to remember to turn off that link to previous. So I click right here, page numbering, format page numbering, start at 1 for section 1. So now I have restarted. And I know this is a short document, but it illustrates how you can do header and footer formatting. You can change page orientation, and the key is using these section breaks.